can kiss your ass goodbye.
Double Paladin grouping together. Gotta love it. Going with a little two-hand action today. You can see my damage is quite a bit higher with the two-handed weapon. But we're going to take more damage too, so...
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Still don't have any buff food though. Still need to level my cooking. I mean, it's already... Actually, I need to hit the freaking cooking trainer. But I don't have a good buff food right now. Once we get... Actually, we probably should hit Ashen Vale. Ashen Vale is a good place to go just to get a few cooking recipes, go ahead and get the cookbook. And then we'll get some stuff online for plenty of cooking buffs. Still need to continue to farm light feathers. It's been my best source of income. These guys are just respawning quickly. Hyper spawns. What we got here? She's already got her buffs. Oh, I kind of screwed that up. When you have Seal of Command, you want to judge Seal of Command if the target's stunned. I screwed that up. Just because I'm so used to playing with Seal of Righteousness. But it's all good. Sorry about that. I had to check on something real quick. Bada bing, bada boom. So yeah, we're doing a little bit of almost like a retribution paladin leveling just for a little bit, but it will eventually go back more towards a sword and shield. But right now at this level, because of the way I'm talent spec'd, this is the best kind of setup. I do have a blue sword that I got for two. I actually got a really good deal on a sword because I saw the sword in the auction house today, the same one, and it was like way more. It was like 4 times than what I paid for it. This one here, I think I paid like 2 or 3. I think I paid like 2.5 gold for it. I saw it in the auction house today for like 8 gold, like at least like 8. Might have been 6 or 8, maybe more. Here, let's see if it says. Yeah, auction 14.9 gold. So, jeez, I got it for way cheaper than that. So the auction house prices are a little all over the place, I guess. They're definitely variable right now. But the one consistent has been that the light feathers are selling for like an amazing profit right now. Go on, kill this guy. I don't want. Worst part about two-hand weapon, what I've always hated about two-hand weapons is just the miss. Like, you miss a lot. And that's the pain. It's like if you're not missing, you're doing tons of damage, but if you miss a couple times, your damage drops off a ton. Like, not a little, a ton. That's why once we hit level 21, we'll go with the one-handed blue sword, because we will feel a lot better about attacking more often. Even though my overall damage will go down, it's just going to feel a lot better. We won't have that inconsistency. You know, we won't have like one fight where we're almost dying because we missed like 2 attacks in a row.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
It's funny how I killed like 8 of these and got no whelp scales, and I killed those 2 and they both dropped. It's like RNG at its best. I was like knocked down or stunned there for a second.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Very hasted attack there. You'll see that sometimes after a parry, your next attack will come out really quick. Good old parry haste. Hmm.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Hmm.
You were screwed.
I need to get some better healing potions. I popped a healing potion and it was like my health barely went up at all. I have to buy some better healing potions. Also, we need to change our key binding.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
We need to be able to weapon swap to one sword and shield in that situation. Because that situation would have been a lot more manageable. If I was using a shield, this guy better not take my orb, but it looks like he's going to. Yep, he certainly is, that fucking bastard. What the fuck's a warlock doing? He's probably an engineer. Probably an engineer.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to use my shield. Actually, my shield isn't even that good, though. Let's see. Yeah. I need a better shield. So we're doing 60 DPS. Imagine our DPS is going to drop by about 20, but the real question is how much more damage are we going to take, or how much less damage are we going to take? I was doing like 62 DPS per second. I put my sword, my mason shield on, and I'm down to like 32. So, I mean, literally almost half the amount of damage. Like damage is, well, they were 35, so it's like 40% less damage. Yeah, I miss not having. This is where I miss not having consecrate. The bandit shoulders. Can we take out 2 at once? Probably. There's 2 mobs there. See how they're phasing in and out right there on the shoulder joint? Looks they do this. I swear they do this on purpose to make it look like it's 1 mob. That's actually 2 mobs right there. Blizzard trying to finagle us into attacking. I swear they do that on purpose, man. Let's just make the mobs like pathing stop where they stand exactly on top of each other for like 3 minutes. So people will think it's 1 mob. Let's see if this guy wants to get in a group. No, he doesn't. Can you believe, like, why would a warlock decline a group invite there? Yeah, I guess. You know, I miss my warlock. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I miss playing the warlock. That was actually pretty fun. I'm gonna have to level up a warlock just for fun. One thing about the Paladin, at low levels Paladin is pretty boring, but Paladin gets good at like level 40. Like 40 to 60 is where Paladin gets fun. 1 to 40, it's kind of meh. Not great. I mean, Retribution's okay. But I think Warlock is fun right from the get-go. I think Warlock's pretty cool. I don't know why I never could stick with Warlock. It's amazing to me that I've never leveled a Warlock to 60 in vanilla. Because every time I play Warlock, I always find it fun. I don't know what it, maybe like, I don't know what level I find it like, where the fun disappears. I don't know. It's very unusual. It is very strange that I'm not able to stick with Warlock for longer for some reason. But we're going to give it another go. I've got a Warlock here, the one that was originally started as my banker. Actually, I'll probably just create a new Warlock because that one's kind of set up as a banker already. Let's try killing. Well, we just lost all our buffs, didn't we? Right. Always kill the lowest level mob first. Resisted. Interesting. He is 1 level higher than me.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
10 vein just popped. I definitely need 10. If I do roll a warlock, what should I, which I am going to play a warlock, what profession should I go with? Oh, I definitely think, okay, well, that's not even a choice. We should go enchanting. Enchanting is going to be our best way to make some money, so. I think I go all the way around. We're on the same fucking layer. Oh, I think these guys are also the same fucking layer. Oh, wow. Server's popular. You gonna, like, swing your weapon? I felt like I wasn't even swinging. You gonna hit this guy or what? Still layer 3, layer 3. That's what I'm talking about. Big damage. Big damage. Let's try two mobs. What do you think? That was stupid.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
See that? Quest complete. It did switch us to layer 1. Thank goodness. Layer 3 sucked. There's way too many people on layer 3. Big damage. Whiff. If they did do a Classic Plus, one of the things I would change in Classic Plus, I would make their... You know, actually, let me think about it. I would make blacksmithing have a lot more recipes for weapons. And I would make some of the higher level blacksmithing have the ability to create high quality, low level gear that doesn't have stats like strength or any intellect or that, but because the quality of the gear is so good, the balance of the weapons are so good, they would inherently have hit rating, like plus 1% hit. That way you'd have an option for low level characters to possibly get some high quality low level weapons made by very skilled blacksmiths that have hit rating on them, to help ease some of the missing that happens at low level. But I would scale back on a lot of the enchantments in Classic Plus. I would actually drastically change Classic Plus. It would freak people out. Like what I want to do would totally freak people out. Because I would scale back on all the enchantments. Like I would get rid of stuff like plus 22, you know, like plus 20 intellect or whatever, or plus 15 agility. I would change a lot of the... I would change the game a lot. Which that wouldn't be Classic Plus. We would call it Classic Negative. How about that? Classic and... So if I would like to do a Classic Plus 2 where we don't change stuff. We just add stuff that keeps the existing flavor of vanilla, right? But I would also do a Classic Negative. And I think that would be great. I mean, imagine coming out with Classic Plus and Classic Negative and giving players an option to play two completely different games. You know, I mean, they're both World of Warcraft, but they're both drastically... Not drastically, because Classic Plus wouldn't be drastically different than Classic. It would just be, you know, we would add some new content, we'd add some new dungeons, we'd fix some of the glaring, you know, problems that Classic, you know, give Paladins a taunt. Stuff like just the really glaring stuff that doesn't make a lot of sense, you know. Give Paladins an additional attacking ability from levels 1 to 40, because as you can see, the only attacking ability I have is Judgment, besides auto attack, and and I'm level 20, which is kind of... I mean, I don't know of any MMO, whereas a melee-based class, you have only one melee attack at level 20. Like literally, I have Judgment. The only other one is maybe Hammer of Justice, but that's doesn't really count, right? Yeah, I would do a Classic Negative. I'm gonna put together a video on that. We're gonna put together a video on Classic Negative, and we're gonna title it Who Needs Classic Plus? I propose for Blizzard Classic Negative. Will we call it Classic Negative or Classic minus minus? Being a programmer, I want to say minus minus. You know, when you iterate like a loop. You do like plus plus minus minus.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Yeah, I'm such a dork. These guys have a really high drop rate on feathers. I don't know if you noticed that. But the feathers drop off these condors quite a lot. Of course, as soon as I say that, he doesn't drop a feather, the bastard.
You were screwed.
Again, no feather. Okay, these guys have a really shitty drop rate on feathers. Have you noticed that? Okay, I'm in trouble here. I'm just gonna bubble. There ain't no way I was gonna kill these two guys with my health that low. It wasn't gonna happen.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
We could call it classic minus. Classic plus, classic minus. Classic. Let's ask ChatGPT. Log in. ChatGPT, give me other synonyms for the word plus. No. Give me words that mean the opposite of plus. Give me 100 words. If you can. Okay, so we're coming up with a name for a new version of World of Warcraft. We're not going to call it Classic Plus because it's not going to be Classic Plus. We're going to call it Classic Negative or Minus because we're actually going to scale back and take away from World of Warcraft. Right? But we're also going to add stuff too. So what we're going to do, different words could be subtract, deduct, decrease, diminish, classic reduce, classic remove, classic downgrade, classic loss, classic deficit, classic less classic, classic below, classic decline, classic fall, classic drop, classic flaw. I like that one. Classic flaw, classic con. Classic pitfall, classic liability, classic burden, classic penalty, classic negative classic. Adverse classic, negative classic. Classic loss, classic loss. Classic cut. Classic downgrade, classic setback, classic neglect. Okay, I'll have to think about it. I'm getting a headache. I get way too many headaches. I swear, I better not have a brain tumor. Seriously. I probably take anywhere from 2, this is not even a joke, I probably take anywhere from 2 to 4 Advil a day on average, because of the amount of headaches I get. And that's not a good thing. There's something wrong there. What's up, Volst? So, yeah, when I'm thinking of, it just hit me, because I come up with ideas all the time, right? I was just thinking, we have Classic Plus. I was thinking about crafting, and I was thinking what struck me was that low-level characters in vanilla WoW really struggle with hit rating, right? They have a hard time hitting things. And I thought, wouldn't it be nice if higher level like Blacksmith could make very high-quality, low-level weapons? And not high quality, and just high quality as in very precise, balanced very well, easy to swing. That innately had a bonus to hit rating, right? They wouldn't have any stats like more strength or stamina or any of that bullshit. Like all that stuff is more inherently like magical based, right? But they would basically allow the person to basically be more accurate with their swings. And then that struck an idea in my brain, which is like a cracked wall. It was like a little cracked walnut rattling around inside my skull, right? That's what I feel like these days because my brain just doesn't work half the time. I thought of, well, let's continue down that path, and let's do what I've always wanted to do, which is, I've always wanted to make an MMO which doesn't have all of the magic that like most MMOs have. It would be more based in, and I hesitate to say realism, but there'd be magic. It'd just be incredibly rare, like super, super, super rare, right? So I thought, what if we made a World of Warcraft version of vanilla, of classic WoW, but we took away tons and tons of the magic. We took away tons and tons of the benefits of like enchanting, right? Or like the bonuses that are inherently created when you make gear, right? So we scaled back. So we would have to come up with something else. There still would be magic, and enchantments would be like, instead of an enchanter having like, you know, how many enchants does an enchanter have in a World of Warcraft? Maybe a 60 enchanter has what, like 50 or 60? I don't know how many. They have a lot, right? You wouldn't have that many. You'd probably have your enchantments would all be based on stuff you discovered in the world, right? You'd have to discover stuff, and most of it would be very, 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 very difficult to discover. So then my thought process said, okay, we can take this idea and we can go further with it and kind of scale back on almost every aspect of World of Warcraft in a certain way, right? Taking away magic, reducing items that are overpowered. You know, magical items is the biggest thing, obviously. We have to take a look at our classes and our archetypes and see how we would change that as far as magic, right? But then I thought, well, what would this be called? It wouldn't be called Classic Plus anymore. And I thought we'd call it Classic Minus because we're taking stuff away, right? We're taking stuff away from the client. We're removing things. But I don't think that's the best name. I mean, I thought about like negative classic. I don't think that's a good name. I don't think that's a good name either. So I asked ChatGPT to give me some different names for the, words that are kind of the opposite of plus. And it came up with some interesting ones. There's opposites of advantage, opposites of gain or addition. Like leak, burn, drain, expense, like classic surrender, classic forfeit, classic loss. Classic loss isn't bad because you're losing a lot. You're losing a lot of abilities. You're losing a lot of enchanting, So, I don't. What is WoW milk instead of WoW vanilla? WoW milk. I see what you're saying. Instead of WoW vanilla, WoW milk. Let me go ask about stamina. Stamina, sure.
Be careful.
It's been hard getting good stuff from the vendor. I haven't been farming feathers, so I'm not making as much money. So yeah, I thought... So then I thought I'd have to sit down and really, like, brainstorm, what would be all the things. Because this really all goes into the idea of the MMO that I want to make. Because I want to make my own MMO. Of course, I probably never will, but... one of my thought processes is that when I retire, the AI is going to be so good, because I'm not retiring for another 10 or 15 years, right? So when I retire, the AI is going to be so good, and the game development tools are going to be so good, I probably could create an MMO on my own, to be honest. I think it would be probably pretty feasible. It might not be a big MMO, it might be small in scale, but being able to create the systems probably wouldn't be that difficult because of the advancements that we're going to get with AI over the next 10, 15 years.
What are you looking for? Strength.
But so I started incorporating the ideas that I had for that MMO, the one that I would make, into what I would call like a negative classic, right? And basically just kind of merge or meld those together and say, what are the things that I would want to do in a new MMO? How could we incorporate those into a classic plus, but it wouldn't be classic plus anymore. It would be more like a classic, reborn. Classic reborn, maybe? I don't know. So how you doing, Vost? I did spend about an hour and a half washing my car today, and my car is very clean now, because it was really dirty. Here, do I have my phone here? I'll show you what the car looks like now after I washed it, because it was filthy. It was so bad. I felt bad, but the biggest reason I didn't wash it is I didn't want to take it to the car wash, because car washes are terrible for your car. And I didn't have all the car cleaning supplies to actually wash it, because I had thrown most of that stuff away when I moved, because it was just old supplies and stuff. So, let's see. After Wrath, Speed Moon. Hey, what's up? So here's the car after I washed it today, and you can see it looks a lot cleaner. Look at that. It looks a lot cleaner. Dude, it was so dirty, man. And, I live in a complex with all these damn trees, so they have all this Florida has all this pollen, you know, you get all that yellow gunk all over your car, so it took me like an hour and a half just getting all the yellow junk off my car, man. It's like nasty. So negative classic, what do we call it? Classic Reborn? It's kind of a lackluster name though, really. You know what I mean? Classic Withdrawal. Classic Neglect. Ooh, I like that one. There's a lot of good names, right? Classic Neglect. Classic Neglect. Ah, I screwed up again. I always forget that with command you want to judge, you want to sorry, you want to judge after you hodge. I always forget that because I don't play command very often. Seal command. Biff.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
All right, so we just need 2 spotted sunfish. Do I not have more powerful spells already active? Is that it? Yes, we are done with that quest.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
I guess we should hit the ore. I do need to make a lot more dynamite. I need coarse stone, and I believe the best coarse stone, at least in my experience, the best farming for coarse, or for tin ore, which obviously is going to give you coarse stone. A lot of the best farming is, I think, Loch Modan, at least as far as like the nodes. But we can also just kill the mobs in dead mines, because they do drop coarse stone, but it's not going to be like a super high drop rate. We'd have to kill them very quickly, and I'm not really spec'd for that. We have to spec back into like a full protection build, which I'm probably not going to do right away. Let's see, what are we doing? Let's see, this costs 15 points. No, we're going to go 4 points into, we're going to go crit. We're going to go with like the rep build initially, and then we'll start sliding over into to get consecration. It'll be interesting. It's going to be, I've never done this build before, so. Every time I've tried to do it, I always chicken out and be like, I miss consecration, I miss my protection, I miss redoubt, you know, I miss all that stuff. So I just end up respecking out of it, so. You need a mongrel. This guy's shooting me.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Oh, I see that. We just need the mongrels, right? 3 more mongrels and we're done with this. I went to throw that away right as he walked by. I was like, really? right, right as he walked past, he just happened to walk right where I was throwing that weapon away. That's funny. God, no brutes. I keep killing these. I'm only killing these because by killing these, the respawn is an RNG based respawn. It could be a brute, not a brute, but what is it called? Is it a brute? A mongrel, sorry. But they keep respawning poachers. Oh yeah, baby, nice. Now we can go to our nice blue weapon. Thank God. Our first blue weapon of this character, actually. It's a fast weapon too, like as you can see. If I switch to Seal Crusader, it's a very fast attacking weapon. And still no mongrels. There's a mongrel, finally. Poacher. Another poacher. Poacher. Thrasher. Mongrel. Bet I can really get him. Poacher. Son of a... Here we go. Poacher. Mongrel. Let's take this. What was it? How many is it? 3, 4? 3. Let's do it. No problemo. 4. We took 3 out just now. Can we take 4 out, though? That is the question. Let's find out. Poacher, mongrel.
You can kiss your ass goodbye.
Oh shit, this was 5, not 4.
You were screwed.
It was 5, not 4. Maybe if it was 4, I think I would have had it, but 5 was pushing it. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bip. Alright, quest done. All quests complete. Yeah, we got a copper vein. So I'm thinking, let's go farm. I'm not worried about leveling right. I need to get my engineering up, so... Well... Can we improve my gear? I could use it with a better belt and better leggings, to be honest. I already bought some gear, but most of the gear I bought, I think, is a little bit higher level. It's like 21 to 23. I'm going to set myself up with the Battle Forge set, just so that I look all smexy.
What can I do for you? Light bless you.
We do need a better shield. The most important thing right now probably is, if we're going to continue going down the shield path, we need a better shield.
Light be with you.
The worst part about trying to go with a shield
For the Alliance.
when you're spec'd into Retribution is that you're not getting the benefit of Redoubt. So shield mitigates damage, but you're taking
Can I help you?
more damage if you go to the two-hander. So it's kind of stupid.
Have a good one.
This is why every time I try to spec into a Ret hybrid where I go ret and then go down and get consecrate and then fill out protection. I never am able to stick with it just simply because
Be careful.
the only way to really effectively use this build the way you should really is to use a two-hand weapon. And I don't really like two-hand weapon fighting because it's too slow. Weapon swings are so slow it just feels really boring. Which is why I always end up specking out of this. Yeah, I don't know. I've already respec twice, so the next respec will cost us some.
Have a good one.
It's going to cost us some money.
Safe travels. See you around.
Yeah, I mean, you always go with divine intellect pretty much. But
Open for business. Farewell.
Where did my feathers go? Get
What
off
can
of
I
me.
help you with?
Ah, shit.
Go forth to victory.
What can I help you with? Go with honor, friend.
I'm trying to figure out where my feathers went. I had some feathers earlier and I didn't. Did I not mail them? Maybe I mailed them to the wrong character. I feel like I've mailed items to a character that's not my character like multiple times now. Because I've mailed, I'm pretty sure I've had feathers I've looted and I went to sell. And I haven't seen them. Yeah, I mailed them. Because I go through my mail so fast. Let me check the bank. I mean the mailbox. Okay, we sold that. We sold the dream foil. Let's just get this crap out of here. We're gonna disenchant all this stuff eventually, so we don't need it. I don't see any light feather here. It almost feels like I've multiple times I've mailed feathers off of my paladin to my banker and they haven't gotten there, which makes me wonder if there's a name. Let me something similar that's coming in the mailbox. Let me, because normally I'll go here and I'll do S. Shady Moon comes up, but I don't even have a character named Shady Moon, so it would never. Let me just. This should. See, look, that's not part of your line, so that wouldn't go anywhere. Here, let's just do this. Make sure that those are added to my friends. That'll make sure that they come up at the top of the list. What's this level? 24, 24, 23. Okay. You can see I have a lot of shit. It's amazing how fast I acquire items. I've only been playing on this account. Like, I literally have only been playing on Dreamscythe on this account, this WoW account that I have, for like 3 days. And yet I already have like all this stuff. This one though I transferred. I transferred this character from the hardcore server. This shaman. But it's a horde, so it doesn't really affect. I created the paladin here like 3 days ago, and then these are just 2 bankers that I created to help, you know, manage my inventory. So okay, well, I don't know what happened to those other feathers, but if I type in S, it should go to the banker. Shy's Bank. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Alright, what else we got? This. Soulbound. Let's do Mm-hmm. It's amazing how much stuff I've acquired in just 3 days. That's pretty impressive, actually. We need... Shit. We need a better shield.
Hey there. Farewell.
How are you? See you later.
What are you looking for? May
Light
your
be with
blades
you.
never dull.
Light
Strength
bless
and
you.
honor.
Four hours, 3 hours, 5 hours, shit. I'm debating on whether I want to level up a warlock on this server. Probably. I probably could just, I don't know. I'm debating. I was enjoying the warlock that I created last week. I could just go back to that my other WoW account and play that one, but I kind of want any other character here to be a disenchanter. What happened to Valst? Valst, you still there, man? You kind of disappeared. Maybe you fell asleep. Normally you can get like the level 20, I think it's a level 20, well I know there's a level 26 shield I think, and then maybe, I know there's a level 19 shield. There should be one in between those two. Maybe 23 or 20, maybe, no 25. There's a 19, 25, and 26 blue shield. So we're 21. The level 26 shield has dodge, has percent block on it, if I remember correctly. Let's see, armor, shields, we're just gonna go blue, search. Okay, so yeah, 25. And it has a lot of armor though, the 25, but then the 26 has the increased block, which is really good. But normally you can, like I saw one of these the other day for 2 gold, and I should have bought it. I was like, oh, 2 gold, that's cheap, I should buy it, and I didn't buy it. Now look, it's 5 gold. And even just the Redbeard's crest is way too expensive, so I ain't gonna buy any of that shit. It's just too expensive. Let's just go for uncommons. I'm sure there's a green one that's better than the one I'm currently using. Alright, there's the Guardian Buckler. What about this one? 495. And there's also the 495. Probably just one with stamina would be the best. Yeah. 5 stamina is not a lot of stamina though. The Guardian Buckler, 3 stamina. Blast Cut Shield. What is this? Attempts to cure. Oh, this is the one that removes poisons. That's a pretty cool shield. Like, attempts to cure 1 poison effect on the target and 1 more poison effect every 2 seconds for 8 seconds, 5-minute cooldown. It's an interesting. I always thought that was a pretty interesting shield. It's a cool looking shield. Guardian Buckler. Well, let's just. What's the cheapest one? Here, 35 silver. Look at that. The superior. Oh, I didn't realize I was level 21. I thought I was level 20. Man, I got to 21 quick. Yeah, but look at this. The superior buckler with the bear. Yeah, 30 silver. That'll work. And I think we need a waist. Sentries. What have I got? 2 intellect, 3 stamina. The glimmering mail girdle. Here, this one's 70 silver. 4 intellect, 3 stamina. It's not really worth 70 silver. Low level gear isn't really worth it because you level through it so fast. It's like you got to be careful with wasting money on low level gear. Yeah, none of this is really worth it. But we got a better shield, so that's something. We also sold... Oh, so I didn't lose the light feathers. I listed them. 2.6 gold. That's not bad. Hey, what's up? What's up, Santos? I don't have... I mean, I have some videos, but they're so old. I can show you right now. I mean, if you want, I can show you right now. I don't have a problem with showing you right now. I mean, the most important macros, like, the most important macros for me, like, are more the healing macros, because you don't really, like, on a paladin, I mean, are you talking about specifically to a paladin? Because it really depends on what class I'm playing. Some classes, like, I would say the class that has the most complex macros, or some of the more complicated macros, is going to be the warrior. And they're not really complicated, but they're, you know, they're a little bit more intricate. But for the Paladin, they're not too, they're mostly pretty basic. You know, the most important one is your healing macros, right? And you're going to have some other ones that are kind of, you know, here, let me pull this up. Let's see. So something like this one here, right, is going to be very common macro, right? This is going to be very similar to whether it's Blessing of Freedom or whether it's Flash of Light. Like if you look at like my Flash of Light macro, right? Like if we go here and go Flash of Light, it's going to be similar, right? And then you have some macros like this one that are kind of silly. I mean, it's kind of a silly macro, but like this macro is just saying cast Blessing of Might on me, basically. Cast at player Blessing of Might. And I just do that because, you know, I put it on numpad 1. Like if I hit numpad 1 to cast a Blessing of Might on me. If I hit numpad 2, right? Like if I hit numpad 2, you know, it's going to cast Wisdom. I don't have to worry about who I'm targeting. I can just smash those keys really quick. The other thing I would say to kind of get around not having to have too many macros, like there are times in WoW, but not so much in vanilla WoW, but in later versions of WoW where you get more abilities and it becomes a little bit more complicated. One of the add-ons I would highly recommend is Opie, and Opie gives you this kind of Skyrim-esque circle menu. And when I get higher level, you're going to get more buffs, and you know, stuff like seals and stuff and auras, and you got to run into a lot of keybinds. Now you don't have to put, you can make keybinds for pretty much everything. Let me see if I've got a character. I don't know if I have let me see if I have a high level Paladin so I can show you. Let's see. I don't know if I do on this account. Skull Rock, Blood Silverers. This one's higher, right? Let's see what she's got. Fatality. It's kicking out some errors because it's trying to load all the add-ons probably. Fatality. Let's see, yeah. Like on here, you can see I've got all my auras set up on a keybind. This character is really too low level. But anyways, the point is, let me get back to my character. And I'll try to show you my character. So let's go back to Anniversary, Dreamscythe. Let me go back to the macro. First, I'll do the macros, and then we'll talk about Opie, because Opie really helps you with macros. They kind of goes hand in hand. So if we go back to the macros, so this macro here is going to be like really common macro, right? It's cast mod shift target, right? Cast no mod player. Now that's one macro that I use for Blessing of Freedom. But I can also do it in a different way. I can do a mouse over macro that does the same thing, right? This is a little too big for me, even my eyes. I could do this one here where instead of doing no mod player, I could do mouse over exist this. And what this is saying if I hold down the shift key, it's going to cast Flash of Light on myself. If I don't hold down the shift key, it's going to cast Flash of Light on my target. If no target exists, it's going to cast Flash of Light on myself. But if my mouse cursor is over a target, a valid target, it's going to cast Flash of Light on them. So this is, I think, the most powerful healing macro that I've ever used, and I've been using it for years, but I just think it's fantastic. So if I just cast Flash of Light right now, I don't have anybody, like, if I have nobody targeted and I cast Flash of Light, it's going to cast it on me, right? If I want to target this guy, this little mage here, but I still want to cast Flash of Light on me, I just hold down the shift key. I hold down the shift key, and then I hit the keybind that's for Flash of Light, which is on my character is number 4, the 4 key, right? So I go shift 4. It's going to cast Flash of Light on me. If I don't hold down shift key, and I just hit Flash of Light now, it's going to, since I have a target, it's going to cast Flash of Light on the target. But if I targeted myself, then cast Flash of Light, but I happen to have a mouse over target, like I moused over this guy, it's going to cast Flash of Light on him. Okay? So that is by far, in my opinion, the best healing macro, right? Because it gives you the ability to very quickly in any scenario, like if I'm like doing like PvP, and maybe there's a guy near me that's helping me kill somebody in PvP in a battleground, and he's really low on health, and I want to give him heal, I can just mouse over real quick and heal him. if I want to heal a dungeon, let's say I'm doing a dungeon, and let's say I'm doing DPS, but the tank's dying, like the healer is having a hard time keeping the tank alive. I may want to be killing the target that I'm killing, but still heal the tank really quick. Again, I can just mouse over, heal them, and I won't lose my target. So I can keep it, so like I could be auto-attacking one target and then just really quick mouse over and heal the tank. So that I would say is by far my best macro. Like, and it's really good for healing. It's also useful for your buffs as well, right? I don't know what I'm not sure what that means, but it's also good for other stuff like Blessing of Protection, right? So you can also do the same thing with Blessing of Protection. You know, same macro. Now for Hand of Freedom, I've got Hand of Freedom different for some reason. Like, and there's a reason for that. I really probably should change Hand of Freedom. But anyways, so basically for Hand of Freedom, Blessing of Protection, all my blessings, those are usually going to be the macro that I use, right? And then outside of that, most of the other macros, like basic stuff, like are pretty simple. Like I've got a start attack macro, you know, which is just basically slash start attack, you know, just this is basically just a start attack macro that says slash. Now the other thing too here, right? The other important thing that's in my macros is this script here. Now what this script does, it says UI frames clear. Okay, it's super important for me because I'm really, oh, I just screwed up my start attack macro. It's a good thing that I have it right here. Okay, so, and the reason I have that script tag to basically clear out errors is because, you know, like if I'm trying to do something like, I don't know, even like Hodge, right? Like let's say, and I don't have a target right here, unfortunately. Well, we can do it anyway without a target. Let's see. Let's say I've got my judgment here, right? If I just drag judgment down to my bar here, my judgment, and let's say I'm spamming that on a target, I want to judge a target, we're going to see this red text on the screen, right? See this red text right here? You cannot attack that target. I don't want to see that text. So what I do is I put that script tag in all my macros, all my melee macros. So now when I'm hitting this button, judgment, we don't see that red text at all because in my macro, it says basically this right here. At the end of any attacking macro, I've got slash script UI frames clear, and it's going to get rid of that red text. I don't want to see that crap on my screen, right? I don't want to see that. So, and really that's pretty much it. I mean, those are the basic macros on the Paladin. The Paladin has very simplistic macros. So, you know, like I said, there's going to be the macro where I'm doing slash cast at player, where I just want to, all I care about is having like maybe an ability where I just hit the button and it casts it on me. And then there's going to be my macros where I want to cast something on me or somebody else. Like, you know, I can cast Hand of Freedom on this person or cast it on myself, right? Or I can heal me, right? Or if I want, I can just mouse over and heal this person, you know. So if we look at my macros, I've got quite a few macros, but they're all very similar. They're all pretty much identical. They're just, you know, they're just like, oh, like cast mod shift or cast, you know, mouse over or whatever, you know, like the healing ones. So they're all very similar. There's nothing too crazy about them. Yeah, so that really covers most of the macros on the Paladin. Like, but if you go to a different character, like, and I don't know if I have a character that can really show you. I can show you some different macros. Classic. I don't know. Skull Rock. No. Fortunately, most of my good characters are on a different WoW account. Seasonal. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, so yeah, I'll show you the seals real quick. So like, here's like a 50 Here's like a 53 hunter. I'll show you like that like a hunter might have some different macros, right? And here, let's just do this really quick because it's add-ons, disable all. So like a hunter will have a few different ones. Like I have, like something like this, turning my pet's growl on or off. So I'll just copy this. It's like this one here is basically, it just depends on what rank I'm doing. Like that's why you see a lot of these are like some are comment out, but like the macro will typically be like if my pet has a growl rank 6, right? It'll be like this. And so what the macro is, it's basically saying growl on. So saying pet autocast growl, and it's at pet autocast off cower. So on my melee hunters, typically when I want to turn my pet's growl on, I want to turn cower. I want to turn growl off because I'm trying to get my pet to get threat. If I want to do the inverse, then I've got a macro called growl off, and on growl off, it's basically the inverse. Pet autocast growl is going to be commented out. It's going to be off, right? It's going to say pet autocast off. Well, here, I'll just show you. So for when I would turn my pet growl off, it would be like, it would look like this. It would say pet autocast off growl, pet autocast on cower. So I turn growl off, turn cower on. That way, that's the fastest way I can get my pet to drop threat, right? To drop threat. That way I can quickly swap threat between me and my pet. And then there's going to be a few other macros, like pet follow / pet passive / pet follow. So I'm just saying that there are different macros for different characters, but macros in WoW aren't that complicated. Not in vanilla, like pet passive, pet follow. If we, there's going to be one here, like this one's going to be really important when you're playing a hunter. When you cast your freezing trap, especially in PvP, you're going to want to put pet follow on. Because if you cast freezing trap and you don't have your pet follow on, you may drop your freezing trap. You may feign death, drop freezing trap, and then your pet may still be attacking that mob. So you want to make sure that your pet follows you. You don't want them to accidentally hit the mob that you just froze. And I just fucked that up, didn't I? Oh, shit. I hate it when I do this when I'm going back and forth between a text editor, because then I'll hit a key and it totally like wipes out my macro. What was it? Pet follow. Okay, good. We luckily we copied the whole thing out. I hate it when I do that. I hate that there's no way to revert. Like if you start typing something, like in a regular text editor, like in Windows, you could do Control C or Z or something. It doesn't work here. So, but let's look at the seals. Yeah. Again, they're pretty simplistic, right? The warrior. Do I have a warrior here? I don't think I have a high warrior. No, we don't. But I have just to show you, right? Like I have. Let me see. Wow. Where is it? Let me see. I have a folder on my computer with macros, and they vary because macros change so much from like the 1.12 client to the classic WoW client, which is 1.14 client, to like retail. So like if you go to like classic WoW, like let's see if I can find a good one. Like here's like an example of like, classic, these are like classic warrior macros, you're doing stuff like changing stances. What else do we have in here? Most of these are pretty similar. It's pretty straightforward. Really on the warrior, it's just the changing stances that's going to come into play. It's stuff like this, cast stance 3, battle stance. But if you go to vanilla macros, then stuff gets really crazy because vanilla is a lot different. You're going to be installing like like a super macro add-on to actually enable you to create bigger macros. You're gonna have stuff like slash script if unit affecting combat player, then cast spell by name vanish. There's all kinds of really funky stuff you get into when you start creating 1.12. Luckily we don't have to deal with that too much anymore. Like here's my macros I have for my warlock, and these are all very basic, but some of them stuff like telling my pet to follow, telling my pet to attack the nearest enemy, like target enemy, pet attack. This is really useful for when I just don't want to have to like target the enemy for my pet to attack. I just want to hit a key, and my pet will automatically attack the nearest enemy. So it's really useful. It's also useful when you're running through a zone. Like sometimes you're running through a zone and you just want to like have your pet aggro mobs so they don't hit you as you're just running through the zone, because you're just going to keep going and those mobs are just going to get reset anyway. So if you're just doing a lot of running through a big zone and you don't want to fight anything, you can use your pet to just pet attack near and just get everything off of you. Yeah, turning torment on, torment off. Turning your taunt on and off for your Voidwalker. Again, it's just the pet autocast command. So yeah, the classic stuff is really straightforward. But you can see I've got, like I said, I've got all kinds of stuff. I've got macros for arena, PvP arena stuff. Here's aspect of the turtle. Here's where you can actually, based on like in retail WoW, if you have different talents, right? If you have different talents in your build, you can actually have in your macro based on which talents you have. It'll use the right ability. So I mean, there's all kinds of stuff you can do, right? But if we go back to anniversary, but yeah, I've got so much documentation on macros. But if we go back to the Paladin, yeah, you're asking about the seals. I don't think, like, for the seals, I don't really have anything crazy. There was in the vanilla client, I think there was stuff that you would do for the seals. Like one of the seals I would do it in the 1.12 client for like Seal of Light is I would actually have it, because I would basically, like on my Paladin, when I would group up a lot of mobs, because I was doing AoE leveling, right? So I'd run my mount around and I'd aggro like 10 mobs, and then instead of having to to hit the key to dismount, I would macro it into my Seal of Light. So my Seal of Light macro would say dismount, cast, if mount, dismount, right? And then after that, it would say targets nearest enemy, and then it would say, cast Seal of Light, and then after that, it would say cast Judgment. So what I would do is, I would run up and round up all the mobs, and then when I got done, I would just hit the D key twice. I'd hit it once to dismount and cast and like target the nearest enemy, and then I think I'd hit it twice. Once to do that, and then I think it would even cast like Seal of Light, and then I would hit the second time to go ahead and cast Judgment. So that was a really nice way to quickly like dismount, refresh Seal of Light on myself, judge the nearest target with Seal of Light, and then start, open up the whole combat sequence. But if you look at my seals, they're not going to be anything special. They're basically just like those other macros. So all I'm doing with the seals is nothing special at all, right? Let's see, man. Wow, look at all this stuff. Text. Do I have two? No. What's that? So all I'm doing with the seals is just it's just basically the spell. And again, the only reason I even create a macro for the seal is just because, once again, I want to be able to spam the button without creating any red text on the screen. You know what I mean? So like if I'm oh, fuck, I just did it again. God, I hate that. I always forget this window's open. Oh yeah. So if I just start spamming Seal of Light, it's just going to cast Seal of Light, but it's not going to cast stuff on the screen. So the other thing, though, is when you get to the point where you have a lot of blessings, and you're trying to bless, like people in a raid, for example, or people in PvP, you don't really want to have to create a bunch of keybinds for those abilities down on your bars. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into OPI, And you're going to go into custom rings and custom rings. And you can see I've got a ring here for blessings, and it's going to have all my blessings on it. Now, and then let's go back to my bindings. Blessings not bound, right? So I'm going to put it on F4. So then, now there's nothing showing up because I don't have any of those spells yet. But eventually, when I get all of my blessings, which is greater blessing of strength, wisdom, sanctuary, kings, light or whatever, and salvation, all of those will be on my ring. So when I want to buff somebody with any of my blessings, I just normally it would be like we'll be in a group situation or a raid situation. Then I'll have the raid window up and I'll just hit like, I'll hit F4, I'll target the person, because the way it works, I target the person, I hit F4, I mouse over the blessing I want to give him, and I just release, and it'll cast the blessing on him, right? So like we could do, just to show you like how it would work. Let's see macro. If we went to custom rings and we went to blessings, and let's say I added something here, let's just add like flash of light, say okay. Now we're gonna have flash of light, right? So what it would be is if I wanted to cast a blessing on this guy, I would just target him, hit F4, release, and it would cast, right? That way you're not dealing with having to put all those blessings on your hotbars and trying to keybind them, because it's just a mess, right? It's a mess. Let's go ahead and get rid of this one. Okay. But yeah, so that's really, really super helpful. And also you do the same thing with your auras. Like right now, I have my auras on keybinds because I like to have them on my keybinds. So if I want to cast like Retribution Aura, I can just hit a keybind. If I want to cast Devotion Aura, keybind, right? So I can do these with keybinds, or even when I'm walking, I can just pull them up and do them with Opie. Same thing, right? I can do them either way. So do them either way. But yeah, the Paladin is really simple. I think the biggest thing is like I said, those healing macros are the most important. And again, Classic has made macros so easy. Like they're really simplistic in Classic. Like in the old 1.12 client, doing macros was really a pain in the ass. Like if I had, let's see. Oh no, this is not right. I'm trying to think where I have this macro that I want to show you what it looks like. I guess. Oh, I know where it would be. Do I have Turtle Wow installed in here? Turtle Wow. So Turtle Wow would have those macros, right? Nah, I don't have them though. Let's see. Turtle Wow. No. Turtle Wow's such a pain in the butt. Maybe it has them at the account level. But it doesn't. Nah, it doesn't. Here you go. So here on Turtle Wow, right? Because Turtle Wow uses the 1.12 client. I mean, check out the macro that I use for. We saw the macro I used for Pet Growlon in Classic. right? It was just, you know. So in Classic WoW, if I want to turn my pet's growl off, that's it. It's that one line in the macro. That turns my pet's growl off. In the 1.12 client, if I want to turn my growl off, this is the command. Look at the difference. I mean, look at the difference. This is actually running, it's like creating local variable, right? I think it's setting the default value to 1. It's saying get spell name. Basically, so it's basically iterating through spell names of my pet. And it's looking for a spell called growl. And then it's like saying, it's basically setting up a toggle, right? It's saying set the value, right? It's saying, well, it's using G, which I'm assuming is some sort of Boolean value that represents the current state of growl, right? And then it's going to say if y equals 1, then toggle it. So it's basically saying if the state is 1, then toggle the state, right? So we're checking to see what state is growl. Is growl currently on or off? So what we're trying to do is we're trying to toggle it. We're trying to turn growl. If it's on, we want to turn it off. If it's off, we want to turn it on. So that's why it's setting up these different variables to store, you know, and that's I'm assuming that's what it's doing. Just looking at this, I don't know Lua that well, but that's what it looks like. It's creating a variable that is iterating through just to check, say is it 1 or 0? Because I'm assuming that most of the states are basically true or false, which is obviously 1 or 0 in programming. So, but anyways, that's just funny that this is what you have to do to actually turn the pet growls off in the 1.12 client, and you know, and in the current WoW Classic client, you just have that pet auto cast off growl. So that's funny. Anyways, guys, I'm not feeling very good right now. I got a sore throat and my head is hurting, so I think I'm gonna go lie down. Yeah, I'm not feeling good. I feel like I had a cold or something. I've been sitting here in Stormwind trying to get the dragon buff to drop, but it looks like it may not be dropping for, who knows? It could drop at any minute. I know the next time it will definitely drop will be in 2 hours and 27 minutes, but that's a long time. But yeah, the macros aren't too complicated in Classic. So, and there's plenty of you know, websites, and you know, you can look you can Google it and find all kinds of information. But I would just caution you that if a macro seems overly complicated, it probably is, because macros are very simplistic in today's world. You'll see some people still using like macros from, you know, stuff like having a warlock with like cast sequence macros and stuff, and I would highly recommend against that. I wouldn't have a macro that like tries to cast like 3 different spells in the same macro. I mean, you can do it, but I wouldn't recommend it. So, but yeah, I'm gonna take a break. I will catch you guys later. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday. Yeah, I have a sore throat, and so I don't know. I had this yesterday too, so I don't know if it's talking too much or what. But no problem, man. Hope you have a good one. Have a good Saturday. I'll catch